Hey, how's it going? And today we're just taking a quick look at the for expression in verse. And so I've got a couple examples here. So we'll take a look at the first one here. A couple things to know about this, that a for expression in verse has two parts to it. The first part here is called the iteration specification. It's also the part inside, also you can think of it as the generator. The generator only works with ranges, arrays, and maps. So I have an example of each one here. And then the second part is what is known as the body. So that's after the colons, and that's whatever you want the for expression to do each time that it goes through its process. A for expression is very similar to a loop, but the number of iterations is known before it executes. So in the verse documentation, they give an example of this. It's called a pulse trigger, and you can set it to loop. So if I click on this pulse trigger, you can see that you can set it to the number of loops. So that's very similar to a for expression. You know beforehand that the for expression is only going to go a certain number of times, versus a loop can just keep going and going and going. So one thing that's interesting is you kind of have to familiarize yourself with the range, an array, and a map when you're using for loops. So here, to specify a range, you put the number, the entry point, the beginning point, and then two dots, and then the end point. So that's how you specify a range. For an array, you just put the colon and then the word array in curly braces, and then just whatever values you want inside the array. And then for a map, you specify map, curly braces, and then you use the equal signs and the angle bracket here. But here, when it goes through, it's only going to print this value here, not the key value, but this value. And the other thing too that's interesting about a for expression is that you can also filter. There's a lot more to it. This is just kind of a general introduction to it, but you can also, after the iteration specification here, or the generator here, you can put conditions in here, or you can also say, like this one is going to print all the numbers between 1 and 10, except it's going to leave out the number 5. So let's go ahead and compile this code and see what it's going to print out. So like here, it's going to print out the numbers 1 through 10. Here it's going to print out these 4 numbers. Here it's going to print out 3, 7, and 111. And then here it's going to print 1 through 10 except for the number 5. So let's see if that's what it does. So go ahead and build that verse code and push those changes. So let's hit start and see what prints out. Yeah, so it's hard to see, but yeah, that's everything. That's all correct. So we got all the values that we wanted. So anyway, that's all I had for today. I hope you found it helpful. Take care, have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.